Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Coffee Chat with Lindsey and Neely, but I have no coffee.
Happy coffee chat. I have sufficient volume of coffee for all
You-
of us.
Yes, you are
And
you are pulling the weight around here.
I always do. I'm just
That is
kidding.
not true.
I'm
I
kidding.
usually have coffee.
I have black decaf coffee
Yeah.
because I like
Well,
the
I
taste.
usually pull the caffeine weight. You're coming in with your decaf coffee. Does that even count?
It's delicious and delightful. And I stand firmly on the rock that decaf coffee is still coffee. And I don't just like milk flavored coffees. I like actual taste of coffee. So.
Yeah. Yeah. You got me there. You got me there. I had my coffee probably an hour and a half ago, and I didn't need another one. So I just have my electrolytes.
Electrolyte land. I also have my electrolytes. We got people. We got a few people in here.
Donna is here. She gets the gold star for being first in the chat. Hadn't been to a live for a while. Blaze is here. Hello. Patty is here. Rickwin is here. Haley is here. Brittany Daniels. I don't know that I've seen your name before, so welcome. Yeah. Big announcement. Well, we have a few announcements today, but
the announcement kind of a day.
The funnest one. Are you ready, Lindsey?
3, 2, 1, go!
KetoChow came out with a new flavor this morning.
Red
raspberry. Isn't that gorgeous? Like, I just love the color.
Oh yeah. Oh
it's
yeah. Like I mean, like that's exactly what I want to create with it when I can have dairy again.
Totally.
Have you tried it yet?
I have not.
Okay, I have not tried it yet either, but I have a legitimate reason. I don't know what you do. So,
yeah. For those that don't know, Lindsey's off of dairy right now, and KetoChow is dairy-based. If you've never heard of KetoChow, it is a keto meal replacement shake or full meal shake. It's a better term for it.
Yeah, it's a complete meal replacement shake.
Yes, it's complete. Because it's not like a diet shake where you only get 100 calories or something. You can actually make it a substantial meal. And it is keto friendly, so it doesn't have very many carbs, very, very low on the carbs. It has plenty of protein, and it tastes delicious.
It does. It's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So I haven't.
Go ahead.
I haven't shown it to Jeff yet, so we'll try to do a taste test to see if KetoChow got the flavor right.
We'll have to test that right for sure. I think I'm going to do a sherbet type of a thing with it for Jared to test because he can obviously have this still. And his current favorite way to consume the KetoChows is via the Ninja Creamy. So I think this would make a super fun one. And I've also got some dragon fruit powder that I use for natural food coloring. And I don't know if that would affect the taste too much. It doesn't really affect the taste of like frostings and things whenever I, make, natural food color foods. But it would be fun to like add some of that to this and make it pink. I don't think I could get red. I'd have to probably use beetroot powder, but anyway. So that's announcement number 1.
Yay. Are you guys, let us know if you're going to be ordering the raspberry. And we each have links that will get you 10% off if you do decide to try it out. So let us know if you're going to be trying that. And also you could add into your order the blue slushy.
Blue slushies.
That's very good. That's very good.
That one is good, but I got to be honest, Mondo Melon is still always my ride or die. I don't know why.
Everyone can just grab a pack of that.
And I love that it coordinates so nicely with my cup.
I know. That cup is
ridiculous.
Summer.
Ridiculous entirely.
Jam Up is here from Huntington Beach by the pier.
Cool.
With my beautiful wife of 45 years. Wow, that is something.
That is a tremendous thing.
Yeah, Rickwin has had her coffee, now drinking kombucha that I ferment in my kitchen. Oh, I didn't know you made kombucha.
You know what's funny about that? It's a small world. It really is. I started fermenting kombucha like more than a decade ago. can't quite remember how it was, like a long time ago. And I haven't done it in several years. I
Same.
mean, like since we moved into this house, I haven't. But I was just talking to my oldest this morning about kombucha, about how like hobbies and things like that, we can like really be passionate about them. Like I was with kombucha and kefir and all these things. And then at some point it's like, okay, I know what I'm doing with that. I know how to manage that. I'm going to set that hobby aside because I'm going to start a different hobby.
Yeah.
And kombucha was literally the example that I used with her.
Nice. Yeah. Oh, I totally agree with that. And I'll tell you one thing, having a YouTube channel where you share those things comes in really handy when
Yeah,
like 3 or 4 years go by and you're like, how did I do that? And
that's
you're like,
right.
I made a video about it. Let me go back and look. I cannot tell you how many
Oh,
times
yeah.
I've done that.
Oh, yeah. I'm like, wait a minute. I used to make these chicken patty things that were like, I ground my own chicken because, you know, I can't do
That's how
anything
you are.
simply.
Mhm.
Um, And it's like, wait a minute, what all did I put in that? Because I put a lot of stuff in them and they were always such a hit. So what did I do there? Oh, yeah, I have a video. I'll just go pull that.
Yep. Oh, man, recipes. Because I mean, you and I are both the same kind of cook where we don't just follow recipes. I mean, I actively don't follow
Don't
recipes.
on
Yeah,
purpose.
like, I go out of my way not to follow
That's
recipes.
right. That's right.
And so then I make something and everyone's like, "Oh, that's amazing. Can you make that again?" And I'm
Yeah.
like, "Nope.
No, I
I'll make
actually
something
can't.
else. It'll probably also be good, but it won't be the same." So it actually is a really good discipline for me to have a channel where I share recipes. Also, when I went through the process of writing my cookbook,
Oh my
that
gosh.
was very
Yes.
helpful. It was a huge challenge because of the way I cook, but
Yes.
it helped me like solidify those skills, which is important because I know not everyone is like us.
Well, and like that was the point that I was trying to make to my kid is the fact that like I know how to do 1,000 things. I don't have to do them that way all the time, but I have that experiential knowledge that I
Yes.
can recall when necessary. And you have the experiential knowledge that you can, in fact, repeat recipes and come up with the same or similar enough results. And you don't have to.
Right.
You can do it or not. It's allowed.
Totally. Yeah. Um, we're all just learning, and I feel like we can learn something from every situation. We don't have to have
Oh,
everything perfect at every moment. It's like,
facts.
but get something from it and then
Yep.
move forward with that into whatever is next.
That's right.
Man, we should
That's
be
right.
putting things on
It's a
coffee
good thing
mugs.
this is a live stream because we have a lot of knowledge to drop.
Gosh.
We can go back and rewatch it and write that down.
Oh, okay. Exchange student says, I just had a bowl of red raspberry and I'm so full and tired of sugar after 3 days. Yeah, she said she was going to do the sugar diet thing. And so I'm
Oh,
curious to know how that went for you. So did you have red raspberries or did you have, well, you
there's
can't have
not a,
it yet because it's not,
yeah,
hasn't cooked
it
and everything.
just got launched like an
That's funny.
hour ago.
So you probably had the real deal, the red raspberry.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's see. Kelly is here. Hello. Okay, exchange student says is saying this weekend I did a Neely video binge on your lemon curd. Did you
I love
decide
Neely.
the instant pot way was not the best? Yeah, okay, great question. Great question. Um, I have a video from years and years ago about doing lemon curd in the instant pot. And it was back in the day when everyone was trying to do everything in the instant pot, and so it was kind of fun to be like, "What else can we make? Can you make popcorn in the instant pot?" I was
You
like,
can, but it burns.
"But but why?" Um, and yes, I found that doing it on the stove was just easier and gave better results. When you do it in the instant pot, you have to really blend it. There's a few different methods. You can either like put it all the ingredients in a food processor before you put it in the instant pot, which gets your food processor all dirty, which is no fun to clean. And then you put it in the jar and you cook it in the instant pot, and then don't always get perfect results.
Yeah.
When you do it on the stove, you dirty one pot and then the jar that you put it in. and you just get such great results. And it takes a little bit of time because it's like 15 minutes of sitting there stirring. But turn on a YouTube video. You could be making it right now while you're watching us. And it's just so easy. I just do it on the stovetop now. Yeah. But if you only have an Instant Pot and a food processor, or even just an Instant Pot, because there is a way to do it without the food processor, there is a way to make it happen. So options.
It's nice to be able to figure those things out, especially like if, like I've said numerous times, and in fact, I have videos on this from like previous homes. Instant Pot, immersion blender, air fryer, those are the only 3 things that I find absolutely necessary for me to be able to cook with. Like if I didn't have a stove or it was broken, or, like a variety of different like fallout situations where you're like, oh, my kitchen is, full of mold. I can't use my kitchen. That's not a real scenario for me at the moment, but I'm sure that is for someone. It's like I could get by with those 3 tools, and then a coffee pot is just absolutely necessary. But I don't count it in the necessary things because that's necessary regardless. So
right. Yeah, but even if you didn't have the coffee maker, as long as you have the Instant Pot, you can boil water. All you'd need is some kind of pour over.
That's right. That's right.
Or you could even make it work.
Yeah, you could definitely make that work.
The Instant Pot has the saute settings, so you don't have to pressure cook everything. You can just use it like a pot on the stove as well. And then the only drawback to the air fryer over the oven is that there's not as much space to put like a whole 9x13 pan or whatever.
Right. So, for sure. There are limitations.
But you could totally make it work. Yeah.
100%.
Yeah. So if anybody has questions, go ahead and put them in the chat just about, whatever. And we can get to those in a little bit. We do have another announcement, and this one is not nearly as fun as the KetoChow. Lindsey, do you want to take it away?
Yeah. Okay. So first of all, what is this month's whole theme? It's saying yes to less. And in light of that, this is going to be our second to last live stream together for a season. We're not sure how long the season will last, but in an effort to say yes to fewer things in my life, I need to take a step back. And it's been 2.5 years of us showing up, and may not be every single week because of traveling or sickness or things of that nature. But
most weeks,
for the most part, we have shown up together every Wednesday. And it used to be Tuesdays, wasn't it?
It was. It started out originally Tuesdays.
Yeah. And so it's time for us to take a little reprieve, a little sabbatical. We're not sure if we will be able to start them back up in a different season, but for right now, it is second to last live stream. May 28th will be our last live stream together for Wednesday coffee chats.
Yeah. So we are taking a break, and like Lindsey said, not really sure what it's going to look like. We're just, okay. It's always good to step back even from good things.
True.
And take just get a good perspective, because we live in a world where there are lots of good things to fill up our time. And I find this especially real when dealing with children and events and classes and
activities of all kinds,
all of that stuff. There's so many good things. Like, I want my kids to be able to do all the activities, but at some point, too much is too much. And there is so much value in stillness and unhurriedness.
Yes.
And I feel like summer is a great opportunity to lean into that unhurriedness. And so I think Lindsey and I are both going to be doing that with the summer. And so that's kind of the mindset I have with it, is I just want to take the stress down, the schedule, take away that, because even though it's a good thing, it's good things can still be stressful. I have children. They are good things.
They're very good things.
They are very stressful also.
Yes.
And so just sometimes reassessing, I think we get into this, we get into a box sometimes where we're like, I can't give it up. I just can't. And my husband is always calling me on this when he'll be like, how about this? And I'm like, but I can't do that.
Yeah.
He's like, but why not? And then I'm like, well, just because I don't want to.
I mean, like, that checks out. I mean, Jeff and Jared have very similar outlooks on this sort of thing. Like, is it necessary? No. Why can't you let go of this thing for a time? And it's like, ugh, why do you make so much logic?
Logic. I have feelings.
That's right. That's right. And this is my little bubble that I get to be like, I get to steer with my friend. I get to steer this little bubble and shift it where we want to go. And we get to hang out. I mean, we talk a lot, so it's not.
Yeah, we're still friends. There's no breaking up going on.
No, and it's weird though, because we just talked about sugar diet, and so it seems like
I know, that's what I was thinking. I was like, oh dear, people are gonna think Lindsay's cutting me off because I
can't with you anymore. I disassociate. Yeah, right. You're not getting rid of me, friend.
we have been discussing this for a few weeks now before, I decided to go off the rails and destroy everyone's health.
Hey, but listen, even then, like,
being sarcastic.
We have to stick together.
Yeah.
We're too similar in all the things, and we balance each other in all the opposite things to where we're on opposite ends of the country, but we got to stick tight.
We do. We totally do.
My allergies today. Oof, it's awful.
Exchange student says a season. Okay. Yes. A season. And I may still come on and do some live streams. I don't know if I'll keep them on Wednesdays. I don't know, but I do enjoy live streams and doing some Q&As and just hanging out with everybody. So I'm just going to try to keep it flexible.
Casual. Well, and same, like, I'm sure I'm not
You're not
ever
leaving the channel.
Yeah. No, not at this point in the game. But I mean, and maybe in the middle of the summer we'll be like, hey, you want to go on live?
Oh, totally.
Yeah, let's do that.
Yeah. I think one of the great things about having a YouTube channel as a stay-at-home mom that I have loved about it, and the only reason that I'm able to keep it going, is that it is so flexible.
Yes.
And I can do as much or as little as I want to. It does get a little tricky when I start having sponsored videos and, people sending me things to review.
Right. That's hard.
Throws a wrench into it. But in reality, I can pare it down if I want to. And again, this is one of the areas where I have to, speak truth to myself and say, I can pare it down if I want to, because it feels like, no, I have to get these videos out. And, I have this channel. I have to keep it going. I can't, it
can't disappoint anybody.
Yeah. And you get into this, rat race, and I just have to be like, no, I can leave for a week and not say anything on YouTube if I want to. Like, that is okay. And so I just have to remind myself of that every once in a while.
That's right.
Kelly says, I love seeing you guys together. You always make me laugh. Oh, but I understand how life can just become too scheduled and busy. We'll miss seeing you guys together. Thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah.
It's you too.
Yeah. And we love spending time together. And actually, I was like, the last 2 years we have got together in person, and this year we don't have that planned yet. And I was like,
we gotta work something.
We need to do something. It sure is fun getting together in person too.
Absolutely.
Rickwin says, I'm so sad, but glad that you are taking a break. There have been several other channels recently deciding to take breaks. Yeah. And it's important, and it's necessary, and it won't ruin everything. Like I said, you get into this mindset where it's like, no, but I can't, because it's like letting go of something. And you're like, but it's still there.
That's right.
Oh, but it's still there.
That's right.
Yeah. Risa is here. Hello. Angel's here. Cheers from Oregon. Oh, that's where I am. Have you tried blue slushies as of yet? And your thoughts, Lindsay?
Yep, we sure have. I really like it. It's definitely like a very sweet flavor to me. And something I've noticed here lately is things feel sweeter in my palate than they have in a long time. So that's interesting. But blue slushies, blue raspberry flavor. I really like it a lot.
Yeah.
But it cannot unseat Mondo Melon.
Yeah.
But
really
I think for some people, it's their favorite.
Yeah, totally. I really like it too, and I think it's very different from the Element raspberry salt.
For sure, for
And
sure.
so I wouldn't even compare the two. They're just very different flavors. So love all the variety.
I want to know who first created the whole concept of blue raspberry, you know?
I know. I mean, I imagine it's because there's so many red fruits and they just wanted something that was blue. And
Maybe.
they're like, well, let's make it raspberry.
Is there an opportunity for a raspberry to be blue in nature? I know you can have black raspberries.
And there's yellow and salmon colored, but blue.
Yeah. But it also kind of makes me wonder, like, is it a mashup of blueberries and raspberries?
I don't know. It is very much a candy flavor. Like, it's not really a real fruit flavor.
Yeah, I would. Yeah. I have to write down that question.
Research.
Yep. You know.
You're so good at writing everything down. I never write
I am so good at writing it down. I am not good at going back to review those things that I wrote down.
Maybe you can write them down and send them to me.
I should. Like, it's written down, but is it actually going to be revisited?
Yeah. No. All right. Brittany asked, "Are you still doing the sugar diet?" Okay.
That's why we're divorcing. She's sugared up, and I can't take it.
Okay. So as far as like the name of what I'm doing, I am getting blasted. Well, I'm getting blasted from all sides at the moment. I can't call it the sugar diet because apparently You're not
shooting pixie sticks from 6 a.m. to 17.
I'm not drinking Coca-Cola. You know, like I'm trying to do it with fruit and honey, maple syrup. But
things that you can extract from nature.
Yeah, all of those things are on the list of what counts as a sugar diet, but because I'm only doing I don't know. So anyways, I have been for the past couple of weeks doing it with some off days. And I'm not doing any full 24-hour sugar fasts. I'm only doing the morning and early afternoon of fruit. So I'm calling it intermittent fruitarian, but then I got
that checks out.
Then I got a comment saying fruitarians eat 1,000 calories for breakfast, so you can't call yourself that. I give up. Maybe I could just call myself high carb, low fat. I don't know. Like not vegan. I was thinking high carb, low fat, not vegan.
Right. Yeah.
But then I'm not staying low fat.
Non-vegan, high carb, low fat.
Yeah. But then I'm not
make it more complicated.
Right. I'm not necessarily staying low fat when I have like a meal.
Oh no. She is gone. I thought it was going to be my internet that had hissy fits because the weather here is just kind of intermittent.
Yes. Yeah, okay. It was you. That was weird. It just said I lost connection and then I'm back. Anyways, so I feel like the sugar periods where you eat very high carb from sugar with no fat is a tool, and I am playing with it. So I'm not going to say I am on the sugar diet because apparently that's not even a thing. It's either sugar fasting or not sugar fasting. And so I don't even know what I'm doing. Like yeah. So I am still playing with it, but I'm not doing any kind of a long-term sugar fast. Okay, let's see here.
Definitely challenging when you're trying to investigate what tools to use at what time or what moment, and then try that information because I know that there can't be that many. I think I've come across maybe 3 or 4 creators on YouTube that are women following the sugar diet that have been coming across and And it's like, you see how it works for men who are also doing like alternative injections and things of that sort, like with steroids and what have you. So it's like, okay, well, that's cool for them. But women are a little more women. And so, like, what does that look like in a female human?
Right.
Is definitely an interesting perspective. And I think that serves a group of people that may not have been served in that to a degree. I mean, I know you're not doing it because of that. You're doing it for your own metabolic experience.
Sure. Yeah.
But it's helpful to see that, even if there is no exact specific label that you fit within tidily.
Right. Yeah. Let's see. I was going to say,
I'm sorry.
I was going to say something, and then I was focusing on what you were saying, and I lost it. So, well, Suzanne says, I will miss you guys, but I understand. I've been taking a break from many things lately and giving myself grace to get through the summer stress. That's what we need to do. Give ourselves grace.
That's right.
Get through.
That's right.
Carmen says, I'm glad you are letting us know that you're going to take a break. Your regular viewers will not mind you not producing videos, but some people may worry that something was wrong. Yeah, totally. Like, we want to make sure everyone. Yeah, I remember when Steve from Serious Keto took a break and he didn't tell anybody, and everyone was like, oh my gosh, did he die? And so yeah, definitely want to do that. But I know he needed to.
The keto killed Steve.
Sanity, so I think that was the right choice for him at the time. But we were all worried about him. Kelly says, you be you, because that's great. Thank you. That needs to be.
I mean, it really is hard to be honest. True. I mean, it's hard enough being me, and I'm surprised at all times. So it's a new adventure every few moments. But
yeah, I don't somebody have else. Energy. I don't have energy to be somebody else. That sounds like way too much work.
Yep.
Carmen says, don't worry about labels. You've explained what you were doing several times. How about no name sugar experiment? Sure. That sounds good. I did on my last video. I said sugar diet adjacent or something like that. Yeah.
Intermittent fruitarian actually kind of encapsulated the concept quite nicely.
Yeah, I thought so too.
I guess I'm not the internet with the policing words, so
yeah, no, they know everything. So I really do need to listen to them. No, it's really funny. I was thinking about it today. I have about a third of the comments that I'm getting are positive, supportive, like, wow, this is so interesting. A third of the comments are so angry that I would even say anything about sugar maybe being a healthy part of someone's diet. And then the other third is people telling me how I'm doing the sugar diet wrong. So it's a really
you will not win.
Weird.
This is a race you will not win.
Yeah.
So enjoy it.
One comment that I have gotten quite a bit recently is, why are you just going back to the standard American diet? That's what gave you health problems in the first place.
I feel like unprocessed fruit, exactly standard American, and I don't think they know you very well.
I've gotten hit multiple times. Like, okay, so you're just going back to what made you sick. It's like, I have never in my life done a diet like this. Never.
Yeah.
And it's just the idea that high carbs equals poison. Carbs equals poison. That's just like what some people have in their minds. And even though there was a time where I was like, for my health, I need to not eat carbs, I never thought that they were poison. Especially whole food carbs. I've always fed them to my children. And there have been times where I was like, they really shouldn't eat that much sugar. And I was like, I struggled with it.
Angsty about it.
If I really believed it was poison, I would not have fed it to my children.
There was a season of my life where I was like, sugar is killing all of us. Yeah. Legitimately went down that path for a period of time.
Yeah.
And I finally came back to sort of, like it's the pendulum that swings back and forth. And I finally kind of like leveled out a little bit where I'm like, sugar is not the root cause of what's killing people, but it is a cofactor, some things. And, it's like seed oils. I feel like those could be, like something that we need to be highly concerned with. And even though I don't know if sugar is right for me right now, therefore I'm not consuming it. I'm not restricting my children whenever they're like, can we have, I mean, like they're not just eating regular fruit, but you know what I'm saying? Like whenever they're like, we would like to bake brownies, you go right ahead. Here's this quality sugar that I've purchased for you, this quality flour that I have for you. Go to town. And they are moderate. But in the amount that they're allowed to consume at one or another. But at the same time, it's like, I did not believe that it was literally like putting rat poison their oatmeal. You know what I'm saying? It's
Right.
it's not the same. It's not the same.
Well-
It's, and now I'm a little bit more flexible in my ability to think. And I think the rigidity of like the cult-like mentality is a really challenging thing to come out of and accept the fact that, like, yeah, maybe that's not right for me right now, but that doesn't mean it's demonized for somebody else.
Yeah. Well, and I think it's so fascinating because we have explored the power of a primarily fat diet with fat fasts, with high fat keto. And obviously there is an amazing metabolic thing that happens there.
Right.
And we have explored high protein in the absence of fat and carbohydrates. And there's some magic there, which is amazing. And then now it's like we're just, and I say we as in my circle of people that I watch. I know there's other realms that have known about this for years and years. And, the whole vegan crowd has been a lot more into this kind of thing. But we now are exploring the magic of carbohydrates in isolation. Like that cannot, it's like, it's so,
it cannot be overstated.
It cannot be overstated because I see the keto and carnivore crowd doing exactly the same thing that people did when keto became popular by saying, we know fat is not healthy. Just look at all these people eating burgers and pizza and donuts that are so high in fat and they're not healthy. Therefore, how could a diet full of fat be healthy? The keto and carnivore people are doing exactly the same, or not all of them. A lot of them, some of them are doing exactly the same thing with this, saying, we know sugar is not healthy. Just look at the whole American population that's eating a lot of sugar. They're not healthy. They're not talking about what people are experimenting with. It's completely different. So.
Yeah. Something that just kind of struck my brain is that it's a macro isolation diet tool.
Yeah.
That kind of like, for some reason that just struck my head. So I had to say that out loud before.
Yeah. And I think like the Trim Healthy Mama plan uses this, although they don't
isolate.
They don't use the absence of protein. There's something about the absence of protein also that does this crazy magic. But they still use the switching. There's something about it.
Carb cycle.
Yeah. And so I think there's something in that drives metabolic disease that has to do with the carbs and the fat together, and especially the more unnatural carbs and fat together, like processed foods. I think that there's just something about that. And when you take things in isolation, you take out a piece, it's not that sugar is bad, it's that sugar in,
the presence of.
Yeah, in the presence of fat and maybe certain kinds of fat and in overabundance, that's when it becomes bad. Fat is not bad, but when you have a whole ton of fat in the presence of all these other things, that's when something changes. So we don't have to demonize nutrition. We don't have to demonize macronutrients. We just have them in their appropriate place at the appropriate time. And it can all work.
Yeah, and the carb cycling thing, that's been around for like a long period of time. I mean, it's not a new thing. And Trim Healthy, like they just tried to, turn their phrases slightly differently so that they can make their version of a program that's literally just carb cycling. And sure, they want to maintain a level of, you got to have protein. This concept or macro isolation, though, like literally only having the sugar. I mean, obviously there's fiber in that.
Right.
So I don't know where that falls, but technically,
and there's also
fiber.
a bit of protein and a tiny bit of fat in fruit too. Like it's not.
Sure. Completely pure.
Right.
You're not just taking white table sugar and getting it down your throat.
Right. And even, on PSMF, there's still a little bit of carbs and a tiny bit of fat. And even on the fat fast, there's still a little bit of protein and a tiny bit of carbs, but it's just like primarily. There is an excellent article that was written by Denise Minger. I don't know if you were aware of her. She was very big back in the paleo days, and she did a huge article debunking the China study, which was like a big vegan study, and she just went through it and like tore it apart. It was amazing. She did another article, I think it was a few years ago now, and I just wish that everyone in the keto community would read this article, because she talks about the metabolic magic of ketosis and how we all know in the keto community that there is some metabolic magic that happens in that 65% fat and up range. But she also says there is a metabolic magic that happens in the low fat, high carb range. And why do we have to throw out one of those? Why do we have to like pick a side and say the other side is wrong or incorrect? Like, let's just have all of these tools. And the article is fantastic. And she goes into like the Walter Kempner rice diet and how like this man was curing diabetes with hundreds of grams of carbs, like white carbs. Were there some issues with it, like with nutrients? And yeah, clearly. But let's not ignore that. Like,
right.
That's like throwing away information that could help us.
Be beneficial.
Exactly.
Well, and the thing is, like, everybody, not everybody, but the vast majority of people within the low carb to carb community space, they accept the concept of a fat fast, and they accept the concept of MF fast. Obviously that was redundant,
Yeah.
But it's like they can't accept the concept of a sugar fast to some degree.
Yeah.
Even if it is a temporary, like it's like nobody goes on the egg fast for, 6 months at a time.
Right.
You don't see that happening. Right. You don't see people doing the butter only challenge. I don't know if that's a challenge, but you don't see people just eating sticks of butter only for 6 months at a time.
Right.
And if they are doing it, they're certainly not sharing it where I can hear it. So it's one of those things where it's like you said, it's just a tool. It's just a tool. And I mean, I'm personally not engaged in eating sugar right now. But I am doing a couple of whole food, higher carb vegetables and fruits for very specific targeted purposes that I have here on my channel, but I will once I get around to it. So anyway, okay, sorry.
I know it is pretty wild. Well, okay, so the sugar diet crowd have gotten real culty real fast. Like, it is amazing how like dogmatic they have gotten real fast.
Instantaneously.
Which is just how it goes. And so it's like, I'm watching the dogma on the keto carnivore side. I'm watching the dogma on the sugar diet side. And I'm just like, oh my God.
I'm here on my apple.
I'm just trying to sit here, like, just find out if there's something to this. And I mean, I'm going to be doing a whole video on like the results that I've gotten, but the list of benefits I have seen so far, and obviously it's only short term. If I did this for 5 years. I'd probably run into problems. Like with all of that, my skin has gotten softer and cleared up more. My weight has dropped like 6 or 7 pounds. I've been eating at least 200, at least 2,000 calories per day on average. I know the videos that I did was less than that, but on average, I have been eating more than 2,000 calories a day. Very little hunger. When I finish my fruit fast, maybe we could call it that. Well, I'd have honey too. Anyways, when I finish that and I have my meal of protein and starch, and it's still pretty low fat, at least on most days, I am so satisfied that I just don't even, it's like it totally takes away any kind of food noise. And in any other time where I've done like intermittent fasting for the first part of the day and then tried to eat, or there was a time I experimented with PSMF at the first part of the day and then a regular keto dinner. As soon as I went off of whatever the morning diet was, it's like I could not stop myself from just eating everything in sight. And I quickly learned that I can't do that. Like that doesn't work for me. With this, it is 100% different. I will eat my fruit all morning, and I have to eat fairly often. And it's not like I love it. Like, oh, I'm so satisfied with fruit, but it's like doable. But then when I get to the evening meal or the afternoon meal, the entire rest of the evening is like I don't even think about food at all after I have that. It's just mind blowing to me because, well, my goal is to find a healthy diet that keeps me at a weight that I feel comfortable at, that keeps my nutrition levels in a good place, micronutrients, that I don't have to meticulously manage macros and calories for the rest of my life.
Yes.
Like, wouldn't that be amazing? And on this, I have been tracking calories because I'm sharing.
Right.
I don't have to. Like, I can literally eat as much fruit as I want during the day and then have my meal with, the parameters I've set. And I don't even want to overeat. Like it's not like I'm wanting to go eat the jar of peanut butter or the bars of chocolate. Like I don't even think about it. There's something mental that's happening with it too that it's all fascinating to me. So anyway, I didn't want to like go so far into this on this live stream, but anyways. Gabrielle says Dr. Mindy Pelz recommends to increase carbs near our cycles. Yes, that is.
I've heard that the first couple days of your cycle you should increase carbs, and then around is it like day 20 to 22, like in that time frame is the other appropriate time to increase carbs. Gosh, that's been a long time since. Okay, sorry.
Exchange student says this is my 3rd day of sugar fasting, 2 meals a day, fruit and juice, trying to eat healthy sugars and not trash candy and marshmallows. Yeah.
2 meals. Yikes.
I know that would be really hard for me because I can't eat a lot.
The volume.
I mean, I'm eating a lot of fruit in a meal, but it doesn't hold me for very long. So I would be so hungry if I tried to do that. And then again, I'm not doing any full days either because I still want to have my protein in the evening. And so,
yeah.
Okay. Another thing with all of these diet hacks and tools, I like to call them tools. There will always be people who take them to an extreme. We have seen this with every single one, with the vegans that are dying of starvation, with the carnivore people that have lost way too much weight, the people that do PSMF too much, people that fast, like continually pushing and doing 30 days. Like it's just people take things too far. That is just the reality of people in this kind of environment. And so I am a little bit scared for people that are drinking Slurpees and, eating marshmallows and all the dyes and the just processed garbage.
Polysorbate 80.
Yes, all of that stuff.
Destroys your gut.
All of that stuff in the absence of nutrition. Because with all diets where you're reducing and restricting and trying to lose weight, you run the risk of becoming nutrient deficient. And I have been nutrient deficient in my life, and it is not fun. And it causes a lot of problems, including weight problems. And so it's like, don't dig yourself into a hole by trying to lose 100 pounds in 100 days. Like, seriously, that's what's being pushed is like 30 pounds in 30 days. Go an entire 30 days and only eat sugar and drink Coke. And I'm just like, let's have some common sense. And I recognize
not common anymore.
I recognize the mechanism that is at play that will still allow them to lose weight, but let's have some common sense that this is going to cause problems in the future, even though you probably will still lose weight.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, good.
I think that whenever you first started talking with me about it, was one of those moments where I was like, I mean, maybe, but you approached it from I'm not going to be shooting pixie sticks, all of this processed stuff. Mm-hmm. That's just not your MO anyway. Mm-hmm. But like thinking through the whole concept of how many different packaged foods are there in the center aisles of the grocery stores that all tout low fat, low fat, low fat, low fat, low fat, low fat. And from the perspective of keto did a lot of really good things for me. And I felt a lot of benefit from that. And the concept of, low fat is causing harm to people because they're having to replace that fat with sugar. Mm-hmm. So and clearly like the sugar is the problem, and the fact that there's not enough in the diet is a problem. But reality sets in and it's like, they're eating a bunch of processed garbage. So maybe it's the fact that they're just like not nourishing their bodies at all, right, but they're filling their stomachs with stuff that's not actually benefiting anybody, right, and just totally destroying them from the inside out. It may taste all right.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and then people talking about the processed food in the middle aisles of the grocery store. I've had comments, people saying, didn't we do this back in the 90s when we all went low fat with all the Snackwell's cookies and stuff? And and
the fiber
bars. Well, maybe some people did, but they didn't also. It was like, I'm going to buy all these low fat things and eat a ton of them, but they would still have all other
the issues,
foods that had tons of, so it's like that combination. So, and with the low fat, low fat potato chips or low fat cookies, it's like, oh, well, that means I can eat double. So they're still getting the fat and double the sugar with it. And it's like, well, obviously
right.
So what's happening now is not that.
Right.
There are,
and it's hard to disassociate those things. It's hard to disengage, uncouple those two ideas.
Yeah,
but it is worth it to figure it out.
Sure. And it's the same thing that people had to uncouple when keto became popular, because they're just like,
right,
we know that sugar or that fat makes you fat, and we know that fat causes heart disease, and we know and that, we've made a lot of progress with that, and now here we are trying to make progress with sugar separated from everything else.
Separated from the dogma and the misconceptions.
Yeah. There's a lot of dogma going on. I'll just say that. Lauren says, if I wasn't pregnant, I would try. I've been so obsessed with pineapple and kiwi this pregnancy that I could probably live off of them. Yeah, that's amazing.
Oh man, when I was pregnant with Lauren, all I could do to restrain myself from eating an entire pound of dates at one sitting. I loved dates so much when I was pregnant.
Well, there's a thing about dates and pregnancy,
especially at the end.
Yeah, where it helps soften your cervix or something.
Well, that's not what I wanted because my body does not deliver babies naturally. So I definitely didn't need that aspect of it, but I curry those like crazy.
Interesting. Well, and then also the pineapple is supposed to, isn't that supposed to help stimulate labor?
Maybe.
What it was, something about the bromelain.
Yeah. That is the right, I believe.
Sophia is here, just joined. Yep, having serious conversations. And we should probably give our other announcement again, just for anybody who has come in late. We announced earlier that next week, next Wednesday, will be our last coffee chat for a while. We are gonna take a break and reassess, and we'll see what happens in the future. We're making no commitments. It's not because we're not friends. It's not because I'm talking about carbs. It's just because we are reducing
in a season of
a season of reduction. There's been a lot of seasons of adding all kinds of good things to our lives, and that is great, but we can't sustain that forever. So there's times where we have to pull back, reassess, and then move forward. So at least this summer, we're gonna just have a unhurried summer and get rid of as many schedules as we can, and just try to enjoy our kids and enjoy summer activities. And we will, and that's just for the live streams. We both are still planning on keeping up with our channel,
making videos
as much as we are able to, like always. And so we're not going away, but the regular Wednesday live streams will cease for a while.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
All right.
I like what Kelly said.
This one. Apparently now we are going to have to learn to live on love, because we can't eat carbohydrates, we can't eat protein, we can't eat fat. Doesn't leave much to eat. Absolutely.
Check.
Absolutely. Yeah, I have really gotten out of the mentality that there is one perfect diet, or that we can put foods in a bad or a good category. And I see people, they come to keto and they say keto is good, and they act as if
everything else is bad.
Yes, and then they act as if nothing bad can happen from eating a keto diet. And then
not true.
And then when something bad happens and they switch to something else, then they say, this is the good and true and perfect diet, and everything bad happens in keto and nothing bad will happen here. And it's just like, I think there are positives and negatives to all foods and all macronutrients. And we can accept, it's just, I think it's just a reality, and we can either accept it or not. My own personal opinion right now. And we learn to live without perfection. I don't have to have it perfect.
What?
So when people are like, these bad things could happen from eating all this sugar, I'm like,
sure.
Okay. Like, that
all right.
Change I didn't think that nothing bad would happen from eating sugar. I don't think that nothing bad could happen from eating carnivore. I just don't think that about foods. And so, anyways, we've talked enough about that. So
we have talked so much about it. So much.
Risa says, did you see Dr. Berry's sugar diet video? Hysterical. It was pretty hysterical.
Oh, I sure saw it.
Yeah. I mean, my honest opinion of it is that it sounds very similar to all the mainstream people reacting to keto and the Atkins diet when it first came popular. Like, we know fat is bad for you. So a diet high in fat is going to cause all of the things we know that fat does to you.
For sure.
Not really looking into the mechanisms and the nuance and the absence of other things. And, the keto community has fought that battle for so long, saying, don't judge us as a high-fat diet based on studies that include a ton of carbohydrates. Now the keto opportunity.
It's the exact same opportunity.
Exactly. The keto crowd has an opportunity to extend that kind of attitude to other people. And I'm sure some of them will do that. And I am grateful for that. I do see a lot of people not doing that. So
that's within their right
totally,
to do,
totally.
Have their opinions. And, I understand the whole concept of, well, who's really behind this sugar diet?
Sure.
It's big food, pharma. It's all these places that are just trying to get your money. And it's like, okay, that's a fair consideration. Also, what stands to lose if this sugar diet is effective for people, if they're performing it in such a way that does give them what they're looking for a period of time? People in the keto carnivore space might lose their and might lose their livelihoods. And so it cannot apply that argument to only one half of the equation. It doesn't.
Yeah.
It really doesn't. And I'm not saying that Dr. B is going after people or not going after people or going after this concept because for money. I'm just saying, like, his livelihood hinges on people understanding his perspective and choosing to engage in that community.
Yeah.
I don't begrudge him that in the slightest.
Not at all.
But if you're going to apply the concept of who's behind this, we also have to apply that same logic to you as the one presenting the argument. And if you're above reproach, then you're above reproach. No big deal. But you have to be able to stand that scrutiny as well.
Yeah. And I find it really funny because I have listened to a lot of vegan information.
Sure.
And I have for years. There's been certain vegan channels that I follow because I try to stay open-minded. But I've watched more recently just because those are the people talking about high-fat, low-carb, or high-carb, low-fat diets. It is hilarious how often the vegans talk about the carnivores and how they're paid off by the dairy and the meat industry. Like I hear it on both sides. They're like, those vegans or those, people saying high sugar, they're just paid off by the sugar companies. They're over there saying the exact same thing about, like, literally by name, Dr. Berry and Anthony Chafee, and like all these people. They're like, they're just getting a paycheck from the big dairy industry. And you're like, no, they're not. they're not.
I think that the vast majority of people with those different camps hold authentic beliefs about the health benefits that they've experienced or that they see, the information that they tout.
Yep.
And it's a really easy trap to follow, trying to devalue someone else's perspective, science, experience, what have you, by saying that it's paid off. Yep. And everybody says the money. You have to go back and say, if I have to follow the money on their thing, what am I following the money on my thing? It's just, you got to apply it across the board. Otherwise it just falls apart.
Yeah. And clearly there are charlatans out there that are just trying to make money. But on the vegan side, on the carnivore side, on the keto side, there are genuine people who are just trying to help other people, and they're doing it in the best way they know how. And there is integrity in all of those camps. And so it's just like the finger pointing, the tribalism of like, we have all of the right answers, and so they must be doing all of these bad things for all of these bad reasons. And you're like, no, they're just trying to help people. And this is their perspective. And the amazing thing is I think all of those camps have valuable information to offer that we can all benefit from. Why do we have to be at war? All right.
Yep.
We got to wrap this up.
Nearly laid the smack down.
All right. Well, thank you for joining us this week. Join us again next week for our last one for a while. And